So this has been a fun little story to follow. If you haven't seen this, there were dozens, no, actually it was in the hundreds of intelligence documents, U.S. intelligence documents that were leaked, put onto Discord, so put onto social media. So these were basically documents dealing with the uh, the fiasco of a war in Ukraine and just some just general intelligence activities that the United States and its allies were involved in. So I think for the most part, these documents they were top secret and they were in the Five Eyes kind of compartment. So not like not super crazy above top secret, more general kind of sanitized top secret. But the Five Eyes is it's shared information between the U.S. and its most trusted allies. So what is it? Um, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, yeah, and then the United States is the fifth. So yeah, it's basically shared intelligence. So all kinds of things came out. So one of the things that came out was exactly what I've been saying is that the Pentagon's been lying about the war in Ukraine. It's actually going very badly for Ukraine and NATO. And it was basically the Pentagon's own documents showed that the Russian military had lost about 16,000 people, whereas with the Ukrainians it was up over 60,000, so about 5 times as many. And another thing that came up was just U.S. intelligence spying on its ally South Korea, which South Korea knows this goes on, but when it comes out into the open, they have to make a stink about it. Otherwise, they look like a bunch of chumps if they don't make a stink about it. But it's what goes on any given day. And another biggie was U.S. ally Egypt showed that they'd been selling what rockets and gunpowder to Russia. Um, U.S. allies, they're always selling weapons and munitions to U.S. enemies, and then the U.S. is always selling weapons and munitions to the enemies of their allies. So it's nothing new, but it's just coming out. So, pretty exciting. This is what happens when psychopaths go too far and people get sick of getting abused by them. So, this whole thing's getting pinned on Russia, and it's like, oh, it's a Russian hack. It's like, no, these were people inside the Pentagon, inside the military, possibly inside Central Intelligence, who don't want to see the U.S. go to war with the whole world all at once. They want to stop the insanity. And they want to slow down or stop leaders in this country who hate this country. So I have no preference, over parties, left, right, Democrat, Republican, but what they all have in common is they hate this country and they hate the American people. This is most apparent on the left, but again, I don't have a left-right preference, but the Republican Party is really the right wing of the left. They're both left parties. And so, yeah, they hate the American people and they hate this country. And they're actively working on the behalf of their masters who fund their campaigns and who have blackmail on them to destroy this country. So this leak was all about somebody making an effort to slow that down. Um, it's always possible that this was some planned leak just to, distract people, but these things happen for real too. So they look, I can't remember that clown who's the press secretary, but he looks he's genuinely nervous and scrambling around. So a lot of these people are generally nervous about this and scrambling around. So No, this is a real deal leak that's happened. Pretty good stuff in my opinion. But this is just the U.S. government and its corporate masters being exposed more and more for being the psychopaths they are, for trying to order the whole world around, tell the whole world what they need to be doing. Otherwise, their government's going to get toppled or they're going to get invaded. You can always be sure when people don't do things the United States' way, all of a sudden they get accused of needing freedom. And then the coup or the invasion comes, right? So, yeah, it's pretty cool. We live in some really cool times. And this is just a warm up. This things are gonna keep coming for years. That's These globalists will just look like fools more and more every day. So pretty exciting. I think that's all I really have to say about that. But yeah, this war in Ukraine's a fiasco. NATO, Ukraine, they're getting their asses kicked, and Russia hasn't even gotten serious yet. And things have come out where Vladimir Putin's in poor health, and people think with him gone, everything's gonna be hunky dory with Russia. No, Russia doesn't want to be a bunch of bitch boys for the U.S. and UK and their banks and corporations. So they're not going to give up with him out of the picture. They've got a replacement who can get shit done. Um, you know, Sometimes the world needs bad men. It's like how Iraq needed a bad man, Saddam Hussein, to keep it from turning into a haven for terrorists. And U.S. took him out, and now it's a haven for terrorists. And Libya needed a bad man to keep it from becoming a shithole country and a haven for terrorists. And the U.S. took out Gaddafi, and look what happened. So, and then fucking Afghanistan, it's like a giant haven for terrorists now, with millions of dollars in cash left behind and all kinds of weapons and military vehicles. So the U.S. the leadership of the U.S. military and U.S. government are just they're a bunch of traitors. So when they start saying that such and such a country needs more freedom and the leader's a bad man, it means they're going to make the country worse. So Putin is the bad man that Russia needs from being taken over by Wall Street and big business. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Have a good one.